The superintendent of the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District is on the line with us this morning. He's Philip Martell. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Mr. Martell, how are you?
I'm well, Todd. Good morning.
It's good to have you with us here this morning as we talk about various items within the school district. And, of course, the big news today, the dismissal of the lawsuit by Save Our Saltsburg Schools. But before we get to that, I want to help to wrap up this school year as you've got commencement scheduled and the end of the school year, and classes will come to a close. Right off the bat, let's talk about how this year has gone, whether it's met your expectations or exceeded them in terms of academic achievement, school attendance, and just the ability to get through it.
We just getting through it, I'd have to say we really exceeded the expectations because between the community, the teachers, the custodians, everybody in the school district, parents, they helped us do that because it was inevitably the most difficult year in probably our nation's public education that we know. That being said, from an educational perspective, we've got a lot of ground to make up. Some of the resources we're getting from the federal government obviously will help us do that. But I don't think we'll really be able to gauge how big of a loss from an academic and a learning perspective it was until we really get into next year and we start to try to see how far behind. That being said, too, we are doing some amazing summer programs, not only just with credit recovery, but STEAM camps and different things. So we're putting in the resources in place for our families to try to catch up.
Well, I was going to ask you next about that. For the summertime, are there extra measures being taken? Obviously, there are.
There are, and as I said, we're not only beyond the credit recovery. We're doing We're doing STEAM camps at the elementary level. We're also doing math and English level courses like STEAM academies. Probably roughly around 10 programs overall, and we're having, as we're gauging now, we're taking participation is very high. So we're going to be active all summer. Really, obviously on one front, and obviously with the reconfiguration on another.
Yeah. Okay. So that will be going on. You've got commencement ceremonies going at both Saltsburg and Blairsville high schools, and we know that's going to be highly emotional as students will be the final graduating classes of both of those schools, and I think that's one of the things that has gotten lost in this. It's also the end of this Blairsville School District as an identifying force.
No doubt about it. As one door, one chapter in history closes, another opens. And we're creating that as we speak, and it will be emotional because obviously, as you said, the last classes to come through. It's what we're trying to accentuate the positive of all the good things we're looking to do moving forward as a school district. But tomorrow will be a very emotional day for our families and our students. But we'll get through this together.
All right, so that will be happening tomorrow, the end of the school year, of course. Let's talk now about the court decision which came down, and that was a rather rapid conclusion to the federal lawsuit as the federal court dismisses the lawsuit by the Save Our Saltsburg Schools. Your first reaction to the court decision?
I felt all along that we made this about a plan for our students and what the potential was to put in place for the students to bring equity education throughout this district, but also to provide a model that's feasible. And we felt all along that was the case. And obviously, it's a relief. As we talked the last time, I said the court's kind of got to do their thing, and I have to do our thing. But with that being done quick, now we can move forward, and which we were anyways. But we're very pleased with the decision.
Are you anticipating that there will be appeals and that you'll still have to be in court at some point or another?
I guess, as we know, the judicial system allows a lot of leeway on a lot of fronts, but so anything's possible. But I thought, but the judge's opinion, I don't think you could have been more clear than what the judge was. The fact that dismissing all the counts immediately. But that being said, this is America, and people have a right to do those types of things.
So the creation of the River Valley School District becomes official on July 1st. Yes,
that is correct.
And yesterday, the release of the logo and the team name will be the Panthers for the sports activities. Let's talk about setting up the educational model. You've got a lot of work to do over the summer. Bus routes, various educational facilities have to be firmed up, I'm sure, and your teaching staff. So if you could sort of give me an overview of what your summer's going to be like.
Transition. We are. Obviously, we have not only just transition students, but obviously, as you just mentioned, staff. But also then preparing our buildings. Everything from let's talk about just transitioning, obviously, with a new name, a new logo, and colors, and all that. To athletic uniforms to gym floors and gymnasiums. But then academically, what we're really excited about too is which kind of got lost in the shuffle. We're offering 30 new courses this year to utilize some of the STEAM spaces that we're developing around the school district. And our students have gravitated towards those classes, so we're kind of excited about that because it gives them more opportunities to expand what they're taking. But it brings the fact that the students will have the same opportunities across the district. And that's what was missing in the past. One side may have had more courses offered than the other. So there was not equity, in that. And now there will be balance. All students will be given the same opportunities all the time. And that's really what we're kind of excited about. But getting to that point, transitioning over the summer, bringing students together, for possible collaborations, the same with the staff, it just takes time. But we'll be ready. We'll work at it.
Tell me more about those 30 classes. Are they all STEAM?
No, they're not necessarily all STEAM because, as you know, with our STEAM Academy, but also still, if you weren't even doing the STEAM Academy approach, there's a lot of initial courses like that we felt were needed if a student wanted to go to an alternative track besides college or, to do a dual enrollment. So we're offering things like blueprint reading, medical terminology, just things that give to try to tie it in based on the career path that we see our students wanting to take. But then freeing up their schedules as we expand into this personalized learning model that I have been developing here, to be able to have students really, if anything, this pandemic taught, it really taught American public education will never be the same. There will be an online component of some sort, form, or fashion, and we know that from college. But having a personalized learning environment where a student may be able to accelerate, to take a couple of the couple base level courses, to open up to take some more electives or things that are on their, within their career track, I think is crucial. But also to be able to come and go, to be able to take, to look at doing apprenticeships, job shadowing. We are going to create that model here in River Valley, and very proud of it. But it's going to give our students more flexibility to do the things they need to do to prepare them for their post-education, era.
Their course track.
Yes.
Where it is that they're going to go with their life after school. We're talking with the superintendent of the Blairsville-Saltsburg School District, which will soon be known as the River Valley School District. Philip Martell joins us this morning. While you are making that transition over the summer, and there obviously will be many of the many details that have to be covered in all of this, you'll also be looking at the Saltsburg School building, which will become your STEAM Academy. What's the timeline for what you'd like to see happen with that building and with that whole concept?
We presented initially from the initial public hearings, there's a process with that. But I will have to say the Department of Education is completely on board with this. They've been very helpful. We've been talking with them weekly now because workforce development, they do understand it's a serious component of what we're doing, not just as a school district, but as a region. So we're going to start doing some of the, we're starting our process with them to get on that path to be able to secure the fact that these courses need to be accredited and follow the guidelines under career and technical education. But then also developing those private partnerships with some of those businesses that need to be able to develop and be able, as I said before, it's the only unique time where government and business can come together without all the normal infighting we see in our country, because they're all looking for the same outcome, and that is a skilled, trained worker. So that's why I think it could really take off and work. But just creating that track and that path. We're looking still possibility of starting a couple programs early. But we can't get too far out over our skis because we want to make sure that it's done right. So, really, we still have everything on track to start, for the 22-23 school year, because we have to get all those spaces down at the Saltsburg campus actually up to par for what those courses will require too, Todd. So that's going to take a little bit of time, and that's why we initially showed that 2-year schedule as well. And
I'm assuming that we're talking a completely separate staff from a faculty staff from what we see at the New River Valley, correct?
Yes. What's unique about our program, too, it will be a comprehensive program. So we will have some of our teachers who will still do your traditional courses, your English, your sciences, your maths, et cetera. But the career paths will have their own separate additional staff that we will have to hire. Now, you're skilled in that specific area.
You mentioned a few moments ago about the 30 new courses you'll be able to offer in this coming year. at River Valley, and said the students have really seemed to be very excited about that. Is that quantified, that you can actually look at the numbers and say, okay, these students are really interested in this course, or has it not advanced to that point just yet?
No, it has. We've been able to do that, and we've actually even been able to survey our students initially for some of the courses we were looking to create from the fall at the STEAM Academy, and we have a lot of interest just internally. Because remember, the concept is to also go out and offer this opportunity to other school districts in the surrounding, not just Indiana County, but Westmoreland as well, and even to Armstrong. So we even have a lot. We have a lot of interest just from our own students in 3 core areas. We were looking at electrical occupations, cybersecurity, and the physical sports therapy type of thing, just possibly getting some of those things started for next year. And we've had a lot of interest from our students for that. So that made us kind of excited as well, as obviously the other new courses that we created.
We talked about transitions that will be happening over the summer. I'm sure you're very aware that there will still be a lot of conflict resolution that will have to take place. What are some of your plans for reaching out to that Saltsburg end of the district and meeting all of their concerns?
Sure. We've, and that's the thing. We have a new athletic director that the board hired a few weeks ago, and she's done a phenomenal job hitting the ground running to start to be able to build some of those things and bring them together. And those are the things we have to do. We have to go into the community. We have to have those discussions. We have to be transparent. That's why we're constantly updating our website, just to be able to say, so if parents do have questions, that those rumors don't float, that they can actually pick up a phone and call, or they can send an email. Hey, what's going on with this? Because this is what I'm hearing. But we have to communicate, and that's going to be an all summer process, Todd. Like, we're going to have to just constantly, as we evolve. Okay, we're done. Here's what we're recommending for transportation, different things like that. So it's really communication with all of our communities, which I think is crucial.
Social media, online platforms. Right now, the website bssd.org.
It's .org.
Yeah, .org. At some point, a transition will have to be made there. When do we see a new River Valley School District website?
Probably within the next few weeks. We're in the process now, working with our technology department, because obviously the email exchanges change as well. So there's different ways that they figure these things out where they can forward them and that. But we're working with our website provider, Edleo. It's really not that. It's not from a color thing and change. It's really not that big of a. It's not that big of a. It doesn't take that long. Mm-hmm. So we are in the process of doing that as we speak.
And there will be automatic transfer, I'm sure, from BSSD to that one.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. He is Philip Martell, Superintendent, Blairsville-Saltsburg School District for now, River Valley School District in the future. Thanks so much for being with us today. Answered a lot of questions.
I appreciate it, Todd. Thank you for having me.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. AM 1160.